We'll call the Delaware County Commissioners meeting of Tuesday, January 20th to order, and we are to have the pledge today by Mr. McCammon, who is a veteran, and you want to step, Chris, to the microphone and give your rank and what service you were in, please.
Chris McCammon from Delaware County Highway. I served in the Army in 1971 to 73. I was a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you, Chris, for your pledge today and your service to your country. Okay, cool. If we could have the roll call, please.
Miss Reagan.
Present.
Mr. King. Mr. Shannon, or I'm sorry,
Yes.
Mr. Henry. Mr. Steve Murphy.
Here.
And Mr. Steve Craycraft.
Here.
Welcome. And we have a public hearing today, and
You want to just open that up for public comment? This is on that transfer of a vacant lot to Habitat. So if any member of the public wants to speak in favor or against the idea of transferring that vacant lot, they may do so.
Hi there, I'm Lindsay Arthur, CEO at Habitat for Humanity. So I truly appreciate you considering this and would ask for your support of it. Currently, the property that we own on Main Street is landlocked and has no way to have parking on that side of the street, where we own a house. And that house we had intended to rehab. We are believing at this point that it's going to take a little bit more money than we had anticipated. We will consider tearing it down, but either way, we would need the adjacent property in order to develop the property and also to give parking for that family.
and I believe we had no other objections.
If anybody wants to state an opposition, they may do so now. If not, then you can close the public hearing.
Okay. Close the public hearing.
And this is set later in the agenda for determination.
Yes, thank you. So, we need a roll call on that, or just?
Not yet.
Okay, very good. Still learning the ropes here. We'll have the approval of the minutes of January. Do you want to lump them together, Shannon?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the minutes for January 1st and 5th meetings.
Okay, I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Miss Reagan.
Yes. Okay. So we do have a NDOT agreement
Yes.
that we need to do today. Angie?
Yes. Good morning. This contract is prepared by NDOT and is necessary to receive 80% federal reimbursement for all eligible costs for the countywide bridge inspection program.
And it just kind of goes along with what we had approved earlier.
Right. This is just so we can start doing the reimbursements.
This is, they approved it and
Yes.
we're ready to go. Very good. So, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion we approve the contract.
I'll second that. Roll call.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
And Miss Reagan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. We might add that still a project set on what year that's going to take place, those two bridges. What year?
This is the countywide bridge inspection
Oh,
program.
that's kind of right. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Moving down to ordinances for second reading. And that's Mr. Jason on the ordinance of 2015-001 EMS.
Just see if you need any other questions about that. That's the ordinance that would allow the officers who get promoted out of the ranks to return to the ranks if they were removed from their positions.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2015-001. the EMS Administrative Officers Ordinance.
I'll second that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
And Miss Reagan?
Yes. Okay, ordinances for first reading, 2015-00 for the travel declaration for EMA.
I just not read through this. It's similar to what we have now, correct?
It is. We just mimicked what the state made changes on their website, and to allow for the verbiage, they were going from colors, and for clarity's sake, they changed it to watch, warning, and advisory. So we wanted to fall in line. They will ask us to do this eventually, but I wanted to be ahead of the game to get this taken care of. So we are sending the same message immediately during this inclement weather time. I like to make those winter weather changes, in the summertime, so it's not kind of from the hip, but the state wanted to get that change. They put a new app out, and they've been heavily advertising it, so I want to get this done so we are in line with the information that they're putting out as well.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2015-002, the Delaware County All Hazards Travel Emergencies Classification Ordinance.
I'll second that.
If you would to consider suspend the rules so we can put this into effect, I would appreciate that, and then we can advertise as much, just like the state does, for your consideration, please.
We'll vote on this. Do so.
You
Roll
can
call.
vote on the introduction and then vote
Right.
to suspend.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Miss Reagan?
Yes,
I'll make a motion we suspend the rules.
I'll second that.
Then vote on that.
Roll call.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Miss Reagan?
Yes,
I'll make a motion we adopt ordinance number 2015-002, the Delaware County All Hazards Travel Emergency Classification Ordinance.
second. Roll call.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
And Miss Reagan?
Yes. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay, now we have a resolution for approval, 2015-001. And we've had the hearings on that, so what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion we adopt resolution number 2015-001, to transfer real estate to the Habitat for Humanity.
I'll gladly second that. Roll call, please.
I think that's resolution.
Resolution 01. I thought
two?
you sent that up. And it could be typo too. But I think
No, it is,
We've not had any resolutions.
no,
I
it
don't
is
think.
one.
Very good. Thank you.
Mr. Henry?
Yes,
And Miss Reagan?
Yes,
thank you.
as a former president of Habitat, I'm so pleased that we are getting that back on the tax roll and helping you folks out. Thank you. Okay. Department heads and elected officials. Anybody have any good news for us? Chris, you were out filling potholes yesterday.
Yes, we have 5,
You want to come?
yes, Sherry, we have 5 one-ton two-man crews on the potholes. We're putting coat mix down. That's all we can do right now. We have 3 brush crews out and doing our winter business right now.
Be brushing. We do a
Yeah.
lot of that, don't we?
Your coal mix is working, seems to be working pretty good.
Well,
It's
it's hard. Some of the stuff is still frozen, got water on it. It works, that stuff we got recently from out there and all, and it's better than what we had. The more it's driven on, the better it is.
Yes.
So we just put
Do
that
we
in.
have any equipment that blows the water out? I know there's some.
When we get the Duro patchers out, that's part of the process, Sherry. When we put the hot mix out, we got the Duro patchers, and that's exactly what it does. It blows the water out before we put the patching in. But the trucks we got out right now, that's
Okay,
not real.
that doesn't have that capability. Okay. I haven't been on that job yet, I need to get out there, I'd like to see that.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks. Anybody else? Oh, Nancy.
Nancy Larson, Human Resources Director. I just want to say, I want to give kudos to Pam McCammon this weekend, our benefits coordinator for HR. She stayed on top of a big issue we had on employees call and say, hey, we can't get our insurance or our prescription filled. We had some kind of a glitch in Anthem. It was not on our side. We do have a signed contract. It was, they were, I don't know, updating their information. There was a lot of glitches. So I just want to give kudos to Pam for staying on top of that.
And we know you ladies work hard, and I was hoping, I noticed on this statement that came up, they only give us like 3 days to pay it. It comes in like, it came in like January 13th, and it was due on the 16th. Not a lot of turnaround, but,
We have a grace period, but
yeah, okay, very good. Well, thank you.
Thank you very
And be sure to
much.
thank Pam for her work.
I tried to keep her staying here, but she's so dedicated. She went back to the
Well,
office.
we don't like to close offices, but
I know.
thank you.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to bring up is about our clinic. You guys, the commissioners, are aware of the possibility of expanding the clinic, and just want to keep that on the table as we move forward. I know they wanted us to make a decision today, and you guys did not want to make a decision that quickly.
I just think around here, we don't look ahead far enough. But maybe from.
We did discuss it in the original contract, the possibility of extending the clinic. Right now, there's another occupant in there, but it'll open up 3 more rooms that we can do exams in. It might be able to do more walk-in and workers' comp, so we're looking into that. And then James is interested in possibly getting some kind of an x-ray machine in there as well.
And I know we work with the city and the schools, so we might be outvoted, so that's fine.
Right.
I just think we need to look, to see what's best.
We'll keep you guys informed.
Well, thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, no, monthly, weekly, we have a total of $1,690,000, $564 from the auditor's office, claims to be paid.
I make a motion.
Needs a motion in a second first.
That was early.
Before discussion, it needs a motion in a
I make a
second.
motion, we pay the claims for $1,690,564.
Second that. Roll call.
Okay, now discussion. He wants to
Oh,
discuss.
on this issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. I was here to discuss this issue last meeting, and I guess I would like to kind of go through. I hate to be repetitious, but I just want to point quickly. First, do I have the floor?
Yeah.
Okay. A couple issues in the past, and this is why I was asking you. You know, you're going to vote on a claim for $1,690,000. Again, to each of the commissioners that are here, is have you had time to adequately review those, invoices and things that you're going to be voting on today?
Mr. Craycraft was up on our desk. Gee, I was up here one day last week, and your office sent the claims up to be looked at. And I'll be honest, I did not take each page and add up, but I trust your staff, having worked with them. Would you
But
like
we
to
emailed it to you also.
Yeah.
Something that Mr. Craycraft's doing now, which helps out greatly, is he emails all the claims now, which has not been done in the past. So we get a chance to look at that. I think you emailed that.
It was last Wednesday.
Yeah, midweek last week, and we get a chance to look at those. Obviously we come in before the meetings. I just went through the claims myself too, as you did. And so, yeah, we look at those ahead of time.
Okay, because my concern was, if he's emailing them to you in advance as a PDF, that's great. If you come in, the doors open at 8:30, the meeting's at 9, that doesn't give you a whole lot of time. And if the inclement weather, you're here a little late, or you just sleep in one
We
day.
can come
Well,
in before you.
the meetings, the ones that are on our desks right now are maybe drainage or engineering. I'm starting to have the highway and the engineer, the claims come up to us before we send them down. So those are claims like Patty works up our, supplies and claims. And we're glad to have Patty back. She was off last week. We missed her. But trust me that Jen has them on our desks. So those claims just today, we have to get down to the auditor's office. But the other claims came up, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday when the email went out. But, so we have time. It's just taking time to.
Okay, well, I'll just reiterate my concerns. And I mentioned,
that's
we mentioned at the last meeting that, a few years back, with the VAT, we paid $1.5 million. Now, some of that was for some windmills we did, or some lights we got that weren't very good, but we didn't get the windmill, we didn't get the jobs created, and we basically paid $1.5 million for, you know, a windmill that was never built, never shipped, and never received. We also paid money, overpaid for a used pickup truck from son of an employee out at the highway building, if I understand it correctly. And so those things concern me. And also, you mentioned last week that we might, at some point in time, put them online, and that way, you know, taxpayers could go online.
Today's meeting after we approve it.
Is that an option?
I'll have to check.
We have to
See
approve
what's
them,
available.
we have to approve them before they go online, so, yeah.
Okay. Because I guess my overall statement is I'm just still concerned that, you know, when we see it as taxpayers, we come in there and you vote for $1,690,000, and we don't know anything that's in those bills. We just know we paid $1,690,000.
I believe those are all public record, are they not?
After we
They're all public record, you could come up
Right.
anytime and take a look.
Mr. Murphy,
Yes,
after
those-
we approve them, they become.
Well, yeah, the records are all public records, and if they wanted to review them ahead of time, they could,
Oh, okay, that's good, even
if they're available.
if the auditor so chooses.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Well, just to add to my point,
Sure.
I understand that, and I may at some point do that, but my bigger concern is you're the ones who review them, review them and then are allowed to vote on them to approve them as valid claims. So I can look at them after the fact and say, this doesn't look right. I just want to make sure that each of you are doing your due diligence. That's my
And,
concern.
I'll be honest too, when I started looking at payroll, it comes up, kind of looking after the fact. And from now on, I'm recommending that HR look at it before it comes up to us to sign off on. So maybe we can catch some things going through payroll also.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Chris?
Yes, Sherry. Gentleman just mentioned the payment of a county truck that was bought. That was long before this guy came
Right,
along.
that was about
Right
5,
along.
6 years ago, I
We
believe.
bid all of our equipment out to cover the bids.
Well, I think it's up to 150,000 that has to be bid for any contract. But we, I know in the past couple of years, we've recommended anything over $1,000. We get 2 quotes because it can help speed up some projects and weed out some misspent money.
And I was just going to point out, we did have that discussion last month, and I know that the issue of the truck happened in earlier times, and none of the current commissioners were commissioners at that time. So
Well-
I just want to make sure that that doesn't happen again, I guess.
I
as a
don't know how
taxpayer.
long you've been here in town, but about some 20, 30 years ago, they lost a backhoe. And so we hope those days are gone.
Well, I've been here since 1956, so
Yeah.
I've been around a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, anybody else? No. I would like to entertain a motion that maybe we put a freeze on out of the highway on hiring right now to do that study that I've been wanting to do, and maybe 60 days. I think we could get by with the staff we have, but
You need to actually pay the claims first.
oh, I'm sorry, we didn't vote on that? Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Ms. Reagan?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Craycraft. But we just need to look at some things and I
Chris,
think with the staff we
is
have.
there any issues out there right now?
Well, there's really no openings other than one mechanic, and it's been open for quite a while. There's no openings right now, actually.
But we did know somebody might be announcing retirement or something.
Possibility, but
That's just what I was
that's
kind
just
of,
talk right
yeah.
now.
So what do you want to do?
Well, if we just were to put a freeze on anything
For 60 days?
for 60 days.
That's fine, I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second that.
That's at the county highway, correct?
Correct. Roll call.
Mr. Henry?
Yes.
Ms. Reagan?
Yes. Thank you. and we could tweak that if we had an emergency. Mr. Terry, please.
Yes, my name is Tom Terry. There's one thing additional I'd like to bring up, and that's the PETA board. And I think you're in the process of selecting 1 or 2 people.
We are still looking at all of our boards, and that is one of the 25 that we appoint to.
Well, what I have, what I'm giving you, and I'm not going to go through all this, but it is, I'm going to talk about every one of the current PETA board members, but today I think time will just allow me to talk about 1. And I'm going to talk briefly about Dave Simmons. And
Mr. Murphy, you want to entertain anything?
Well, you've distributed these materials. The commissioners will review them. I will review them. I don't think we ought to get into discussion of particular individuals
I don't
in front
think so
of the
either.
public.
No.
And so we will review these materials. We're aware of the issue that you raised, and it's been raised over and over again, and we'll take a look at it.
well, one of the things I'm asking you to do, I won't say anything negative about anybody,
Yeah.
but I'm asking you, on his resume, he did talk about being over in Madison County for 8 years. I have a letter from his attorney saying there was no irregularities.
Sir, we will take a look at it. We will take a look at the files like our counsel has suggested, and that's it.
Only thing I ask you to do is to contact Madison County and ask them about their experience.
Trust me, we want to look at these boards, and when I think of a person that's serving on a board, I want the accountability, plus honesty, attendance, and many things. And we are really working hard to get the best people to serve that we can find that are qualified.
We'll do our due diligence.
In Wayne County and in Madison County, they have 2 appraisers, and they have an appraiser in Madison County. I suggest we look to have at least 1 appraiser on that board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question on the boards. I know that
State your name.
Jim Arnold, 300 East McCullough Boulevard. I've still been here since 1956. I just had some question on the boards. I know when you were campaigning, you mentioned a lot that there was a lot of boards that you'd like to see more public participation in. And I guess my question is why, or is it, maybe I missed it in the paper, but why don't we post that in the paper, make it known so that average citizens who might be interested
That's a good
would be
point.
aware?
And I noticed someone called me or emailed me this morning that our webpage wasn't quite up to date, and it all takes time, and people are so busy with the staffs being cut, and some of that stuff just is not as important as the day-to-day, but that's a good idea, and I'll look into that, because we do want new people with new ideas, and not that we don't like the people who have been around a while and have served, but we do need to change things once in a while, but that's a good idea, so.
Well, and perhaps would we get some help from the newspaper as far as either listing some of them or at least making it known that you're at the position or the time when you're looking to fill some of those board positions? Because someone like myself, although I might be...
I do know the chamber is looking into getting some of their members more involved in the community and on the 26 boards that we have, so those are all good suggestions, Jim, I think.
Okay. Well, as I say, I might be interested in one of those board positions, although there were some who might say, since I'm fairly vocal about different things, I might be a little too political for that.
We have some blue cards in the office that could step in, and I think they're down on the little podium there by the copier. Please pick one up and look it over. And anybody, really.
Okay. Well, then we just request that you try to get the information out there
That's a good idea.
for the public to see.
Thank you very much. Okay. I entertain
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
recess.
Or recess, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Mr. Henry
Yes.
and Miss Reagan.
Yeah.